mind if I make the PSA first?
One first. Okay, we're gonna get going in just a minute here. We're closing registration, and the Credentials Committee is going to be reviewing the records right now. From this point forward, if anybody wants to go in or out, you got to go out that back door back there. If you don't have credentials and you walk out that door, you cannot come back in. Nobody who's a visitor is going to be coming in now that we've closed registration. So if you've got your card, keep track of your card. The only people who are in front of the table should be people with a green card with a flag on it and should have your name on it. If you've got a red tag, you should be behind the tables. If you don't have a colored card, you should be up on the platform on the left. Are there any questions? Okay. Hold on, give us a couple of minutes to do the credentials and we'll be right back.
Thank you, both city and county Republicans, for showing up, delegates and alternates alike. I wanted to speak, this is just a public service announcement about microphone technique. I want you to notice how close my lips are to this mic. They're practically touching it. In a germaphobe kind of season, I understand how that can be a little unnerving, but you understand that you can hear my voice very clearly when I'm this close to the mic. Watch what happens when I get about 2 inches away. Now the people in the back probably cannot hear me as well because it's not picking up much of anything. If we're all real quiet like this, yeah. But I just want you to be aware that just because this mic is on does not mean you can't be that far back. It's not that type of mic, okay? So if you have a point of order or something to bring to the attention of the committee, please bring your lips as close as you can without touching it. Fair enough?
Mr. Tim Dresty, can you please come up to the table?
You close to the mic.
Oh, there you are. I'm looking out there and you're right here. Obviously, I'm going to have to eat the mic. So. We have it? Joshua Henning, will you please come up to the registration table? Edward Shettle, can you come on up here, please?
That was the service. Yeah.
Wansing? Jeanette Wansing? Jeanette Wansing? Gerald White. Bill Brown. The police have asked me to alert you that the Forest Park Community Campus is smoke-free inside and out. So no, you can't go outside and smoke and come back in because you can't smoke. And there's going to be a campus police officer at both doors if anybody has any questions or issues.
Point of information.
Yeah.
Are you seating alternates right now to fill in for delegate spots of missing delegates?
We are seating delegates for alternates who did not show up, yes.
Okay, the meeting has not been called to order. Is that correct? So how are you able to place alternates in for the spot of delegates when the meeting has not yet been called to order?
Properly credentialed alternates are seated for missing delegates who are properly credentialed.
Right, that's correct.
We'll report on that.
Right, but the meeting has not been called to order.
The language I have as parliamentarian says until we have the report of the Credentials Committee and there's a vote on it, it won't matter, and that's what the report's going to say. Do you have a problem with
We
that?
can't vote or do anything until the meeting is called to order.
Right. We will be doing that.
Right, but my understanding is that the procedure, and that's, you know, when you look at the call to convention, is that you cannot seat alternates in the place of delegates until the meeting is called to order. There's not even a meeting going on right now, and you're seating alternates.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, I can't even make a motion. We don't even have a meeting going on right now.
Right. We're just seating the people. So,
Sir, you cannot seat alternates in the place of delegates without the meeting being called to order.
they're not official delegates until the body votes to accept the credentials report either way.
So you're just seating them and then you're going to do a roll call?
We're going to do a credentials report, yeah.
And does that include a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I would like to put this on the record, but we are not even having a meeting right now. So we need to bring this meeting to order.
Thompson? Maria. Yeah, she's back there. Sorry. Great. We got more than one.
one, so if you want to keep together, no. Oh, I'm Marley. Yeah. I recognize from Facebook. After a while, you start, going to all these and yeah, I saw it. I know that.
Margaret Mulvihill?
Margaret Mulvihill, could you please come here? Come up to the front, please. Are you here? Okay.
And for the candidates, and maybe one major about each one of them. You don't. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not that great at it either. It's like I said, he's like, and I'm like, it's all right.
Okay.
I told you, I'm not much better.
I have Amy Allen over here, and she's going to call that's
Hey, everybody, raise your hand if you'd like to get started. Me too. What's the holdup, folks?
Could we have the temporary chair address the crowd, please? Could you explain what is taking so long to call the meeting to order?
microphone.
The Credentials Committee is attempting to identify their final report. Until we have that report to be able to bring out here for a discussion, we obviously can't have a vote. We're within a moment or two of having that, so if you'll give us just about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to have the report, and then we
Sir,
can
are you
move
on
forward.
the Credentials Committee? Why don't you call the meeting to order, then we can appoint, then we can get the Credentials Committee and vote on the report, or take a recess and then they can do it then. So let's call the meeting to order.
Well, the chair is vacant. You can call it.
Microphone.
All right. All right, we're going to call to order the First Congressional District Convention for the Republican Party. At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Harold Hendrick up to give the invocation.
Would you bow with me, please? By way of a prayerful thought, recently I was in the rotunda of the state capitol, the symbolic center of Missouri's government. There are 7 panels wherein there are truisms etched in stone. 4 of those are scripture. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And then a key one that says righteousness exalts a nation. And the rest of the verse is, but sin is a reproach to any people. May we pray. Our Heavenly Father, we are praying for grace with this occasion. We're praying, dear Father, that you would help us to be people of goodwill, people with high motives, people desirous to carry out the democratic process in good faith. Jesus, you told us that blessed are the peacemakers. So we are praying that as much as possible we might be a peaceable people as hopefully we come together, each with our own consciences at work to do good things. So guide us, dear Lord, and be pleased with our activity today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. The chair is going to appoint a temporary secretary to take notes until we have a permanent secretary. Becky Bowalda, would you please come forward as a temporary secretary? At this time, the chair would like to just point out a couple of quick things. Everybody who is seated in front of the tables, who is in a chair, should have a green card. Could everybody please hold your green card up? Has anybody got a green card that does not have a flag on it? No. Okay. You see somebody without a flag, they're an invalid voter, yell and we'll take them out. Everybody who is, you can put your flag, you can put, yeah, you have a challenge. Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate it. No, I understand. That's different. You don't get it.
I didn't get my challenge card.
You don't have a challenge card. Okay. We'll discuss that in a moment. The everybody who is behind the tables has pink cards. They're the alternates. I said this earlier. We'll repeat it. The campus is totally smoke-free. If you go outside, you're not allowed to smoke inside or outside of the buildings. And so let's see if we can get things moving here. Welcome to the First Congressional District Convention. I'm Dan O'Sullivan. I'm the Hadley Township Committee man. Sharon Barnes was the appointed temporary chair. Sharon has had a family emergency and had to go to her nephew's in Milwaukee, I believe. It's in Wisconsin. And was unable to be here today. The party asked me to be the temporary chair. So if you are a praying person, please keep Sharon and her family in your prayers. All right. The business of the meeting at this point, I believe, we go to temporary committees. There are several temporary committees that have been appointed. At this point, I'm going to tell you who those are. For registration, we had Edna Ditto, Becky Bowalda, Bob DeVoli, Sarah DeVoli, Robin Hamlin, and Steve Knowles. The police are providing security, so we do not have any standing sergeant at arms at the moment. If we find the need for one because we can't get along, I'll be happy to appoint a couple. Hopefully that won't be needed. The Credentials Committee is chaired by Bob DeVoli, who is right here. The people that are on that have helped review the credentials are Becky Bowalda, Edna Ditto, and Steve Knowles. The Rules Committee is James Knowles, T.R. Carr, Ted Engler, and Sarah DeVoli. I want to apologize to anybody that received an email of rules from me that said that they were final. The version which I was provided had an error in it. I was not aware that it had an error in it as a pre-distribution. I did not realize I had an error in it until 3 this morning, and I was unclear what I was going to do with it at that point in time. Yeah. So we have new copies, and we will make those available in a few moments so everybody can review them. The parts that were missing had to do with the platform and debate. They were deleted inadvertently in the distributed version. The platform committee is Robin Hamlin, Kelly Owens, and Paul Yurty. The timekeeper is going to be Ed Harlow. He's over here. He's got some little signs. If he puts up stop, please talk, stop talking. We'll all try and get along. For tellers, for voting, we're going to do what the people from the city did last time. I witnessed it, and we did something similar. And what we did before was you will stand up and hold your card up. There will be 2 tellers, and we will ask you to count. So 1, 2, 3, just like your kids counting in line. And we'll go around. Everybody will sit down, and the 2 tellers will make sure that they agree on the count, and then we will count whatever the next issue is, whether it's a yay or a nay, or whether we have to count on multiple people. Following any vote, we will pause to make sure that we don't have more votes than people that are here, because obviously then we will need to do some kind of a roll call vote at that point in time. The tellers are Brian Cohen, who is, the gentleman is up here, and a person that I've used the committees that Sharon had assembled before, and Steve Knowles, who is voting, is a delegate, is gonna, he helped last time, and he'll help him do the counting. You'll be aware that he's voting, Brian is not voting. So just so you guys are aware of that. That should take care of our temporary committees. The chair is going to appoint Chris Dickey as the temporary parliamentarian. She's a registered parliamentarian, and Sharon had, this is Chris, and Sharon had engaged her to assist us today, and we've kept her on, and yes, we're paying her. So, all right, temporary recess. Okay. How are you ready to make the financial report? Yes or no? Without objection, we're going to take a 2-minute recess just so he can finish his numbers. He's finalizing the report. He really is almost done with his report. Is there any objections? All right, so we're going to be back here in about 2 minutes. We could ask that people put your phones in vibrate mode for the body of the meeting. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. come up here a sec? I think that, I don't know. I think it's him. I think it's him. What's your name? excuse me. There's, is there 6 or 7? 7? I think there's 7 people that had a pink card that now have a green card. Can you stand up for me, please? So you guys, I know this is pathetic. Just go back there and stand in between those 2 tables for a minute while we do the credentials report. So you guys want to argue about where you're sitting. All right. Are you ready, everyone?
Point of information. Is there a deadline on the time that we have this room?
Yes. No.
There's not? Okay, thank you.
No. She told me I could stay here after that. That's Marla. No? Call Marla. Call Marla. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to reopen the meeting here.
Correct the point of information.
Yeah.
Like, most people didn't hear what he said.
I can't hear a word.
The policeman says that we're supposed to be out of here near noon. The gal who signed the contract with us told us that we could be here after noon. So he and I are going to have a conversation when we have a break, if we have another break. We'll try not to have any more breaks. All right. Are you ready? Okay. So, Bob DeVoli is the chairman of the Credentials Committee. Please present your report.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, the Credentials Committee has completed the registration process with 2012 Republican 1st Congressional District Convention. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay. We are happy to report that 96 delegates have registered. Let me back up for a minute. Of the 102 elected delegates, 96 delegates have registered for today's convention. Of the 102 elected alternates, 64 alternates have registered for today's convention.
Point of information, please. Are there supposed to be 103 delegates or 102?
Okay, I finished my report. Okay. There was one delegate who was disqualified because he was not a registered voter in St. Louis County. There was 7 open delegates.
Point of information.
Let him finish his report, please, and then we're...
Well, this is a direct bearing on what he just said.
Go ahead.
All right. The delegate who was not seated, because he was not a registered voter, what was the name of that delegate?
Lucas Rolfing.
Yes, he is in fact registered to vote.
We'll have the Credentials Committee will present their report. They will then make a motion. We will have discussion on the report of the Credentials Committee prior to voting on whether we will accept or reject it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, there were 7 open delegate seats in the St. Louis County, and we have filled 7 of the open seats with alternates. This leaves 0 unfilled delegate seats in St. Louis County. This gives us a total of 102 delegates in the delegate section at this time. There is 1 delegate for whom the Credential Committee has challenged their credentials. At this time, I move that the delegates accept the initial Credentials Committee report as presented.
We need the name of the second. Oh, they don't need a second? Okay.
Yeah, second. Can you say your name?
No second, she says. Okay, the chair is open to discussion on the report from the Conventions Committee. Please move to a microphone. We'll field from the left. Yes, you.
Yes, if I may.
State your name, please.
My name is Cecil Skaggs. I'm a delegate seated with the city. I'm speaking on behalf of Lucas. He is a registered voter. It was my understanding that the objection to him was due to his age, as he is not yet 18 yet. However, the rules clearly state he only has to be a registered voter. He was allowed to register at the age of 17 and a half. He has done so. I fail to see what the disqualification grounds are. He has registered to vote.
The requirements of the state party for a delegate is that you be a registered voter. And you are not a voter until you are of age to cast a vote. And the state law allows you to register before you are 18, but you are not classified as a voter until your birthday. The election, wait, please, if you'll. The election board was asked what the status of his voter registration was, and they said he is a registered person with the election board. His voter status is pending. He is not a voter in St. Louis County at this time.
And what is the legal foundation for that?
The
discussion be closed. Any second?
Not hearing a second, I will continue answering the question. Yeah, you need to be recognized to place that motion. The state party was asked about this after the question was raised, and they consulted with Hush Blackwell, who said,
with whom? I'm sorry.
Hush Blackwell, it's a law firm downtown, and they said having a question regarding 17-and-a-half-year-olds who are pre-registered, and they said that they had talked about this, and they decided that even if you assume they are registered, they are not a voter until they are 18, because they could not vote in an election on the day when the meeting is being held.
Okay, fair enough, but how, is that an opinion on their part, or do they have do they have any sort of authority for that?
We went to the election board, and what I have is the election board printed out a report which they stamped with their certification and signed, and they told us that as far as the election board of the state of Missouri is concerned, he is not a voter today.
Okay, again, though, I merely ask if he has in fact registered to vote. That is all that's stated in the party rule.
No, he has to be a voter.
Is that, and again,
yeah, he has to be a voter.
You have, basically what you have then is you have the opinion of a law firm, and you have the opinion of the election board. There's no legal basis.
The state party advised me as temporary chair that his delegacy was disqualified based upon the information from the state election board.
And I understand that, and
okay.
We are contesting that fact. That's in fact why I'm standing up here.
And I understand that, but a disqualification is not the position of the state was that it is not a question which can be voted on because he's not qualified. You can't vote to seat a person who's not a registered voter.
And what we are,
Mr. Chairman.
Well, are you yielding?
I cede to.
Yes, Dan.
As a point of order.
State your name.
Joseph Daniel Kelly, delegate from the city. As a point of order, he has already voted in a caucus, being Airport Township. And a question.
What's the point?
The point is he's already voted in an assembly like this. So there's precedent. Item 2, if it turns out that he were disqualified, then I assume he would be replaced with a similar delegate.
Motion to accept the decision of the election board as to the status. Asking for a roll call vote.
Okay.
Point of information? Point of information?
The state call to convention says only rules governing the caucus and convention, only Republicans who are registered voters residing in the district of their election shall be elected a delegate or alternate. He's not a voter at the moment. He didn't vote. He participated in a caucus, which is not an official election in the state of Missouri. And this is a separate body. Now wait, this body is separately constituted from the caucus which he participated in. And you know, one of the things that is important to understand, and I understand where we are here, but if we have a person, so I'm going to talk, if you'll bear with me for about a minute here, I'm going to tell you about the theory here. If a voter who is unqualified to vote is allowed to vote by this body, and it is later determined that he was an invalid voter, the delegates and electors selected from this body will be considered invalid if he is the deciding vote. Therefore, we, as the 1st Congressional District, would have no delegates at the RNC, and we would not have a presidential elector, and the presidential elector would be selected by the chairman of the state party. So it is very important when we're talking about the credentials to understand that there is an implication if we allow a person who is a disqualified voter that the party has already indicated to us that they consider a disqualified voter. They're giving us a heads up that if we end up in a vote that's a 1 vote difference, and if he ends up being the vote that changes an election, they could disqualify the business of this convention. And if we want to continue the discussion down that path, we can. But I'm just telling you that's the information. That's what's necessary for us in the credentialing process, is to ensure that nobody can challenge the business of the meeting. If we allow people from another congressional district or somebody who's not a valid voter to vote, we raise the specter that the business of the meeting will not be considered valid. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Amy Allen,
Yep.
delegate from Midland Caucus. I move the previous question.
The previous question is the adoption of the Credentials Committee report. Do I have a second? We need to have a 2/3 vote to end discussion. All those in favor of ending discussion on this topic, please stand and hold your green card. The people who are in John, sit down. You need to be up here in the voting area with your green card. The guys who are the alternates, don't raise your green card.
Okay, we'll start the vote.
All right.
Start at the top.
Where's Brian? Brian, go here with you and count them together.
Point of information.
Yes, sir. Where are you?
Right here. Luke Rolfing, I'm the challenge delegate. Earlier when I was talking to you, you told me that I was able to vote in the caucus because the call to convention says that. The call to convention is the same for a convention today. So you saying that I can vote in the caucus and not in the convention is incorrect because it has the same wording. And I think that I should be able to vote I'll be able to vote in the general election. I think it only makes sense that I should be able to figure out who's going to be in that general election. That's why I want to be here today.
I appreciate your desire to participate. Jesse Irwin?
Yes.
Why do I have your driver's license?
I'll take it back though.
All right. I appreciate what you said, and I want you to participate in the election in the fall. But that does not change the credentials question, which is before this body. So all those in favor who are holding a green card, please hold it up and start counting Brian and Steve on your.
Do they all?
The people who are voting for it, except for the person in the wheelchair. So the people who are voting, so you're voting to accept to end discussion. We're voting to end discussion. Yeah, so they got the green card. They're voting. No. We're not. We're voting to end discussion. Just count the votes and you talk to them. Wait for your right. Counting off. 5. Go right down the road. Please count out loud so we can hear you. Please count out loud. Right. No, we're going down the road, man. Oh, I'm counting this half of the room. No, we were going to have you both watch the count. All right, let's stop. Okay. All right, let's start over. So we're all clear. I'm sorry. So, tellers. The two of you are watching the same people. You're not counting separate areas. We're trying to make sure that the both of you come up with the same number. We're going to count across, and we're going to go across the room, and then we're going to come back.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, a quick point of information. Will we still be seating 103 delegates? Will he be replaced by an alternate?
He will be replaced by an alternate. Count off. She says I'm not supposed to vote. We can end discussion.
Point of information.
Please hold off that point of information to the end of the vote count.
Move to stop count because it's obvious.
It's 2/3.
2/3 is obvious.
It's obvious. The chair finds that 2/3 of the people are standing, so we're going to end discussion.
Point of information. Is the delegate Luke from the airport township, is he going to be replaced by an alternate from the airport township?
Mr. Rolfin cannot be replaced by an alternate from the airport township because there are no alternates from the airport township who registered.
I make a motion that we have the delegate that is challenged.
If there's an alternate from a township, we seat them within the township.
That's okay. That's the motion I was going to make.
Yeah, hold on one second.
I'm sorry. Different list.
Different list. Okay. All right. So our finding when the credentials did the count was that there were no alternates signed in from airport at the moment. All right. And now we're going to go straight to the vote on the acceptance of the credentials report. So all those in favor of adopting the credentials report as presented, please stand and hold your green cards up.
Point of information.
Not in the middle of voting.
But we still have a challenged delegate that you said that we would discuss before we would vote.
We vote on that after we adopt the credentials report, which states that we have a challenged delegate, and then the body will vote on the challenged delegate. He cannot vote. We need 51%, so let's just do a quick count. Go ahead, start here. 1, 2, 3, 4,
12,
13, 14, 15, 16, 18.
Hello?
19, 20, 21,
22, 23, 24, 25,
26,
30,
31,
32, 33, 34, 36, 38, 40, 48, 49, 52, 53.
There.
The chair finds that there's
55 total votes.
there are 55 people voting, and that is a majority of the body. Therefore, we will not count those again. Okay, so. Okay. The people who who are standing between the tables are, give me that. You want to read this or you want me to read it? These are the people, there seems to be some discussion on how people were seated. The rules of the body are that in St. Louis County, we seat alternates from within the township. And if there are no alternates from within the township, once all the people from the individual townships are seated, then we select an alternate from the general pool of available delegates who have not been seated for someone else. Does anybody have any questions to understand that real quick? All right, so report on who's seated.
Joshua Henning from the Midland Township is seated for Chuck Hall from the Midland Township. Edward Shuttle in the Lemay Township is seated for Garrett Mees of the Lemay Township. Gerald Weiss of Northwest Township is seated for Ryan Grimm of the Northwest Township. Mary Beth Angler from the Northwest Township is seated for Bob Emily for the Northwest Township. Maria Thompson from the Lewis and Clark Township is seated for Drew Garvey from the Lewis and Clark Township. Margaret Mulvihill from the Jefferson Township is seated for Charles Mulvihill from the Jefferson Township. And Zachary Cole from the Airport Township. I'm sorry. He's not at the airport. Zachary Cole, do you have a card? Okay. Okay. John Skates from the Wansing. No, I'm sorry. John Skates from Ferguson. John Skates, you're going to be seated.
John Skates. Point of information, John Skates is from what township? Norwood. Replacing who from what township? Luke Rolfing from Airport.
Replacing Luke Rolfing from Airport.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman. Before we took the vote, there were originally 103 total delegates in the convention. Then Luke's ability to vote was challenged, and that changed the total number from 102. At that time, the question was raised, can Luke be replaced by someone else so that the total would be brought back up to 103? And you said no. The rules.
You said yes.
No, you said no.
You said he couldn't be replaced by somebody from the airport.
Correct. You said he could not be replaced because there were no alternates from the airport available to replace him. So the total voting body was made up of 102. Therefore, it cannot be that at this time, Luke, being from airport, can be replaced by someone not from airport.
Now, there may have been a misspeak here, but what the credentials report stated was that there were 102 delegates in the delegate section at this time. The 102 delegates did not include Luke because he was disqualified.
And if Luke was included, the total would have been 103.
Right. And the county rules state, as I said, that a position is filled from within the township, and once all the people are filled from within their townships, they are then filled from the general pool of available county people by the credentials committee. And the delegates in the county, while there seems to be a misunderstanding at times on this, the delegates in the county are allocated on a county basis. They are not allocated on a township basis. The Township Central Committee makes a request of the state to provide us numbers to balance and have people elected on a township basis for convenience. The delegates themselves are representatives of the county, and they are representatives of the congressional district for which they are selected to represent. We as the county, and I'm on the County Central Committee, we in the county select to do this so that we don't have a meeting of several thousand people. That does not change the legitimacy of every alternate and every delegate. They are representing the county. They are not representing their township. They are here in this body as a representative of St. Louis County, and it is the St. Louis County's rules that that any county alternate can be elevated to fill an unfilled position in one of the townships for which there are not available people in that township.
GOP call to convention, page 5 states, in accordance with Rule 15D6 of the Republican National Committee, there shall be no proxies at any convention for the purpose of selecting delegates or alternates to the 2012 Republican Convention. In light of that, I move that the total number of delegates be finalized at 102 and that no replacement for Luke be placed. Do I have a second?
I second that.
This is not a proxy, and the body cannot vote to just reduce the size of the body.
Point of information, Dan?
Yes, sir.
Mark Hansen speaking. I think we have a happy solution. The committeeman from Airport is here, and there is a suitable candidate to replace Luke that I think would be agreeable to all concerned. I suggest that we allow, or I recommend that we allow Bruce Gowalda to make a suggestion for a replacement.
The rules, according to the state, because people raised this question in phoning us and talking to us prior to the convention. We discussed this with the state party. The state party said it is the ultimate determination of the county delegation as a whole, if there is any question.
Mr.
Hold on a second. That it is the ultimate determination of the county delegation as a whole. The county delegation determines how their people are done. Individual townships, when they elect their delegates, can determine if they want their people to substitute first. But anybody who is an alternate in the county is considered a county-wide delegate, and they're fit to replace it. And it is the duty of the Credentials Committee, and if it was not the duty of the Credentials Committee, it is not the job of the city delegates. The city delegates have no say. So we cannot have a vote in this body because the city delegates have no say in replacing a county delegate, in the same way that the county has no say in the replacement of a city delegate, because we are separate bodies that come together today to perform the business of the meeting.
Okay, Dan, I appreciate that. What I suggest or propose is that Bruce offer a motion or make a point of information. He does have somebody that I would support at being one of the county delegates. That's all I'm saying.
And point of order. In Section 5 of the credentialing process of the first U.S. Congressional District Convention Republican Party rules for Saturday, April 21st, 2012, that you sent me, yep. Mr. Chair, within that it states, and I quote, the priority for calling the alternates to become delegates will be based upon the priority procedure of the alternates that was established at the township or the city of St. Louis caucus and made known by the acting chair in a manner the acting chair deems reliable. If the acting chair is not aware of the priority procedures for alternates that was established at the township or city of St. Louis caucus, the acting chair may seek information from the chair of the county, city, central committee, or the chair of the township or city of St. Louis caucus if present. Mr. Gowalda is present.
But Mr. Bawalda has no alternate to place.
It says that they will seek information.
It is. Okay. The first point is that the parliamentarian says the rules aren't in effect yet. The rules, the rules have not been voted on yet.
Sir, these are the rules that you sent to me and said are the
I
standing rules of this convention as of right now. As of the second you called this to order, these were the rules. You sent these to me as the standing rules of the convention.
I'd like to clarify the motion because this makes a lot of sense. The airport committee men should be responsible to select the delegate to replace the delegate that was challenged. And I would like to put that motion on the floor for a vote. So can I have a second?
A second.
That's county. That's county.
It's not the business of this convention to select the person who will replace the county. If we had a vote, the only vote which could take place would be among the county delegates only. And if that is what you would like us to do, then I suggest that that the Credentials Committee make his recommendation, which they have already done, and they are the body to do that. And if Mr. Bawalda would like to submit a second name, we can consider both of those names. And the county delegation can select which of those people they would like to sit.
I don't think that there's actually a rule stating that, and we are the body here to vote on the rules. So,
I've been notified of one other thing, just so we're clear. Mr. Bawalda is the committee man from Airport Township, but he was not the chair of the caucus. Therefore, he is not the person that the rules call to make the selection.
Dan?
Yes, sir.
Here I am.
Right. Yeah. No,
I think the intent...
He was 12.
True. I think the intent of Airport Township is clear. It's clear to most of us. And I suggest we respect their intent, whichever way the vote goes for whomever today.
And if we're going to have a vote of the county body, that is their job to make that decision. And I respect that, and I don't have a problem with that.
And
but
I can come back and say that we should have a vote of the Airport Township. That's where the delegate's from.
But the airport caucus is not here, and that would be...
Well, we have a representative or two from there. Let them vote. Let them select.
All right, look, all right, we've got to get out of here. We do have a deadline pushing us near the end.
Point of information, Chair?
Where? Yes, ma'am.
If I wanted to make a motion, how would I make a motion to the effect that I want to put the question to the county delegates to determine who we should seat as the delegate from the alternates? How would I make that motion to bring that to a vote? Could you help me? No, this is a very legitimate question. I can ask for information.
Let the chair do its job.
That's what we're doing, sir.
Have a seat. Let the chair do its job. Come on.
All right, so if you got...
This is the motion we want. We don't know how to do it.
Okay, so, and I'm sorry, the parliamentarian interrupted me partway through that. I think I understand what you said, but here's what I would suggest. I would suggest that without objection, and if you guys want to object, we'll have more discussion, but that we will have the Credentials Committee will submit their name, Bruce will submit his name, and the chair, although it's not strictly a part of the meeting, will poll the St. Louis County delegation on which of those two candidates they would like to seat. Is there an objection to that?
Can I make a motion?
And one second. And the people in the back, other than John Skates, you have been seated. You guys can sit down. The only person that can't sit down is Skates.
Dan?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes, sir.
Paul Yurchi, Hadley Township.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, there's a reason when we go through this process at the township level that you have delegates and you have alternates, okay? And it's the responsibility of each township to get their people, their alternates here. And I'm sorry, but that's the way the system works. If airport alternates did not think it was important enough to take the time out that every one of you came and gave your Saturday morning for this process, then it goes, they've lost their right, okay? This is a responsibility. They had a responsibility to be here as alternates, just like delegates.
That's a matter of
No, I have a point of information. The chairman of the airport township is not here because he's from the 2nd Congressional District. The airport township is divided between 2 congressional districts. So because the chairman's not here is not a valid reason to allow the committeemen of the airport township to select the alternate.
The rules of the convention are that the Credentials Committee makes the selection. If you guys think this is that important, the chair is willing, if we are, I'm willing to take this as we can all have a big fight going forward, and just the chair will make a decision, and we can argue about the decision later. But I would suggest that at this moment in time, we say that it is the county delegation's job to do this. Let's let the county delegation vote on it and move on with the meeting so we can
I make a motion, sir?
Yes, sir,
Chair,
ma'am.
Amy Allen from the Midland Township. I make a motion that this body of St. Louis County delegates vote on who to appoint for the delegate position from the airport to replace Luke. And I propose that the chairman of the airport caucus appoint or that we take nominations and then vote on that.
Okay.
Committee man from the airport caucus appoint, and then your other candidate, and I move that we vote.
As long as the Credentials Committee will be able to submit their name, and then he will submit,
This is an amendment. I guess I'm moving an amendment.
All right. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, raise your cards up. The chair finds that a significant majority of the hands are up, so we are going to do that. The Credentials report. Who is the person that the Credentials Committee is recommending to replace Luke Rolfing? John Skates is one of the candidates. Is there a nomination for a second candidate?
Mr. Chairman, as committeeman of Airport Township, I'm nominating Nathaniel Schulte, a delegate or an alternate from Midland Township, to fulfill the vacancy in Airport Township.
Here? Is a second.
Second. Hold on one second. Is he here? Stand up. Okay. Show me your red card just for greens. All right. Okay. We have a second. Are there any other nominations?
I move that the nominations be closed.
We have a motion the nominations be closed. Second. All those in favor, raise your cards. Okay. Now, all the people from the city, hold your cards up for me. All right. Brian, yeah, I know. Where's Brian? Brian, there you are. Okay, so none of you guys get to vote. So who's the guy in the 4th row? Okay, make sure you don't. All right. So St. Louis County voters are the only ones that get to raise your card for this one. So you're not doing that guy next to Stokes, okay? And you two you're a county delegate? The guy on next to the microphone.
Yes.
You are?
Yes, I'm a county.
Are you a registered person? No. Okay. All right. So I'm going to all those in favor of voting for John Skates to replace Luke Rolfing, please. It's only a vote of the county delegates. Please stand up. Let's do a count.
Start with 1. Please say it aloud. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8,
11.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
The chair finds that there are 67 delegate positions, one of which is open at the moment. So that was way over 50%, so we will not count the votes for the alternate candidate. Mr. Skates, please come up and take your card.
Point of information, Chair.
Yes.
The rest of the delegates that were sat, the alternates that were sat,
Those were the ones that he had read off the report.
yes, some of that information was incorrect when it was read off as to what townships they were from.
Okay. Is it important?
Yes, it's important.
Okay.
Are we not seating alternates from the respective townships first?
They were, other than Luke, I think they all.
No, sir. You said that Mary Beth Engler was from Northwest. She's from University Township, replacing a delegate from Northwest Township.
Mary Beth, the Credentials Committee made an error in their report. There was only one alternate available from the Northwest Township, and so the first person that was available replaced the first Northwest person, and Mary Beth Engler was selected to replace the second open position.
There's an alternate from Northwest back here. I'd like to submit her as a nominee.
What's your name? Hold on. Is it over there? Where is it? I want to see. We need to see registration. Is it over here behind you back here? Back here? Is it in this bag here? Ed just got it. Fun time. Bear with us a moment. Sharon prepared the list that had the list of the delegates and alternates from the individual townships, and there were a couple of errors on it. We found most of them. We obviously missed one. Hold on 1 second. What's her last name? Kenny? Okay. Mary Beth, I think we're going to let her sit in your place if that's all right. Bring your card up here, would you please? Donna, come up here, please. Thank you. So Donna Kennedy, write Donna Kennedy on the board. All right. So at this, we have a motion regarding the challenge delegate from the Credentials Committee.
The motion is to have Donna Kennedy. Second motion is Pamela Hartley from Ferguson Township is to be seated for Stephen Gleason from the Ferguson Township, who is a challenge delegate, and it's been documented that he is a loyal libertarian, and it's documented on his Facebook page that he's a libertarian. instead of a Republican.
Point of information, the concept of being libertarian and the concept of being a Republican are not mutually exclusive. One can be a libertarian Republican. And more to the point, I think that for a great part of this party's history, libertarian values have been at its core. So I fail to see how somebody simply feeling themselves to have libertarian views disqualifies them as a Republican.
Point of order, speaking to that issue directly, there is a recognized Libertarian Party. If they have contributed to it or advocated for that party, they are not a legitimate Republican registered partisan here. So
yes,
we have a Republican Party, not a Republican Libertarian Party.
All right, and but in that event, we say he is a documented member of the Libertarian Party. Is that what you were saying, or are you saying?
Hold on, let's address our issue.
He does not have to be documented, and all he has to do is make a claim to be supportive of another candidate other than a Republican. That can disqualify him alone.
Yes, that is not, however, what was stated. What was stated was that he claims that he is a libertarian.
Okay, so.
And one can be a libertarian and be a Republican. That is not mutually exclusive.
The chair would like the floor at the moment. The challenge, as I understand it, as presented by the Credentials Committee, is that they have a web page which was printed off yesterday, which says that a delegate to this convention has on their webpage that they're a libertarian. The question is to the body. According to the state party rules, you have to be a strong and faithful Republican, and it is a determination of this body what constitutes a strong and faithful Republican. So the question to this body is to vote on whether or not to seat Steve Gleason, who is the delegate, or whether to accept the credentials report and seat an alternate in his place.
Point of information, when can I defend myself?
I'm happy to let you defend yourself.
Okay, I'll try and make this brief. Hello, I'm Stephen Gleason. I was at this convention 4 years ago, and I was very happy to be elected as a delegate again this year. The charge is that I'm a libertarian. Absolutely, I'm a libertarian in the same way as Barry Goldwater, in the same way as Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan said the very heart of conservatism is libertarianism. Thank you. If the concern is that I'm somehow affiliated with the Libertarian Party, I apologize for that confusion. I have no affiliation with that party. I am a Republican. I'm here because I'm a Republican. I want to be here. Please don't make me leave. Thank you.
I would like to move that this body take a vote to seat Mr. Gleason.
I'd like second.
He's not a city delegate, he's a county delegate.
May I make one more point against seating him?
Hold on, wait a second. The parliamentarian says that the last question constituted a close of discussion, so we have to have a vote on whether we're closing discussion before we can accept more discussion. So, all those in favor of closing discussion on this issue, please raise your card. The chair finds that it is obvious that more than 2/3 of the people have raised their cards. So, let's see if I can be very clear. We are first going to vote whether to seat Mr. Gleason. We are then going to vote whether we will not seat Mr. Gleason. A no vote, if he goes down, will mean that the alternate who has been selected by the Credentials Committee will be seated in his place. Is there any question on that? If you want to raise a quick hand. Yes. No, because this is not a This is a question of general qualification, which is a question that is addressed by the body as a whole. Okay?
Yeah.
Therefore, what? Yes. It doesn't matter. We're okay. All right. All those in favor of seating Steve Gleason as a delegate to this convention, please stand at this time.
Start down here. Ready? 1, 2,
3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
14, 15,
16, 17, 18, 21,
22,
23, 24, 26,
27, 28,
29, 30, 31, 32, 33,
35,
37, 38, 39,
40, 42, 46,
47,
48, 49,
4,
56, 57, 59, 60, 61,
62, 63,
64,
69,
67, 68, 9, 71,
73, 74,
75, 76, 77, 78.
78. Okay. So, Mr. Gleason will be seated. Mr. Gleason, please come to the front of the room. No problem.
Point of information, Chair.
Go to the microphone, please. Name?
John Kent from Forest Township. So at this point, how many delegates do we have now